Hello, welcome to Fraser and Friends. I'm in sunny Derbyshire today. Just got off a cable car, feeling slightly woozy, but I'm here to meet Geoff Kersey, and Geoff's going to show me some of his favourite painting locations, and we're going to go off together and hopefully come up with some masterpieces.
Hi, Fraser.
Hi.
Come in.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, are you?
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks for inviting me to your studio.
Nice to see you
That's
again.
great.
Yeah.
Oh, I always love to have a look around other artists' studios. It's good, isn't it? So this is you. Fantastic.
It's something we had added onto the house over 10 years ago now, but it acts as a studio and a gallery, as you can see. I've got quite a lot of hanging space, so I have shows here from probably an annual show around November time.
Oh, nice. I'm a little bit jealous. I think you better give me the guided tour. So show me around.
Yeah, okay. Well, if you
let's
want to come down this way.
Oh, and you've got a cosy seat at the end there.
Yeah,
that's always
right,
nice.
yeah.
So
Have
after a long day, you can
have a seat.
You can kick back and relax and
I can. Although I am supposed to come in here and work, you know.
Well, yeah, I know.
But I must admit, I do drift towards here mid-afternoon sometimes.
Yes, admire your efforts from afar.
Yeah.
And that's good. Yeah, no, it's nice when people have come to have a look round at your work as well at the exhibitions, I suppose.
I do like that. I do because as an artist, it can be a lonely profession. So it's nice to show your work and get opinions, good or bad.
Yeah, you can sort of sit them down, ply them with a few glasses of wine, and then hopefully they'll go away with an armful of pictures.
Hopefully, yeah. I don't want to give them wine if they're not going to buy anything, so I try and assess that situation.
No. Oh, you're a good judge of character then. So I better ask a few things about you, I think, before we sort of head off and start painting. Just, to give these guys a better idea of who you are and what you do. So painting then, how long has this been something you've done your whole life? Or?
Yeah, well, obviously not professionally. I've been painting professionally for about 16 years now, but I've always painted as a hobby painter. Different medium and.
So straight from school age, you were interested in art.
At school, in fact, it was my best subject, and I went on to do graphic design at college. Then I've worked in marketing. I had a career in marketing for 20 years. Yeah.
Oh, right. So I guess linked in some way, a similar field, but not.
It was more about when you get into marketing, it's often more about sales targets, and budgets. But I got into that through the graphic design and the designing adverts side.
Okay.
And got the opportunity then to leave that and take it up as a profession.
Quite a scary leap, I imagine.
At the time, yeah. But I mean, I had a lot of support from my wife, Florence, who could have been worried about it and said, well, I don't want you to do that. But she said, yeah, let's go for it. And she does work with me.
She's embraced it.
Very much so. But without her support, I have to say, without her support, it would have been a lot more difficult.
Behind every man, they say, don't they?
They do say that.
She cracks the whip and keeps you painting, locks you down here in the studio.
That's right.
Until you've done 10 a day, and then you're allowed out for your dinner. But it's
not such a bad place to spend the day.
Well, no, not bad at all. So if you had to give any advice to someone who was perhaps in a job but enjoys painting and art and were maybe worried about making that leap to doing it professionally, you'd just say go for it, would you?
I would say go for it. Yeah, but I would say you're going to be working hard.
Yeah.
I think like anyone who becomes self-employed, that you get quite a blurred line between your life and your work.
Yeah.
And your work tends to take over, and you're always having to drive it and look for opportunities. So it is hard work. But there is a saying that if you enjoy your work, it's not like having to do a day's work.
It makes doing the emails better and the tax return and all that stuff, and then all the other things that come with it. Having to trek around Derbyshire with a film crew for one of your precious days as well.
Yeah, but I'm sure that's going to be fun.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure they'll be kind to us. I've actually just before I came here been up on a cable car at the Heights of Abraham, and there were a few clouds starting to roll in, so it might be an idea for us to go and get going, for you to show me where you've got in mind, if that's okay.
Let's head out there, Fraser. Let's go.
Grab your paints, grab your gear, and we'll
get off.
We'll go.
Okay.
Oh, so is that actually where you sit to do your work? Where you do your painting?
This is where I do the painting.
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm working on at the moment is just checking a proof.
Yeah, that's a great image. Is this
Well,
local?
yeah, it's a good plug for my new book, Painting Watercolours from Photographs. And this is not far from here. It's about 3 or 4 miles away, Cromford Canal.
Oh, it looks great.
And that's I'm just illustrating in the book how you take the photograph and work it up into a painting. In fact, if you wanted to have a look at that, I could do with a couple more photos myself. If you want to head out there.
Well, yeah, shall we? Yeah, if it's en route, let's go and have a look at the canal. Brilliant. So this is sort of similar to the view you showed me.
It's very much like that, the one that we were looking at. I think it was set in autumn, but it's about stood here.
It looks like a busy little spot.
It is, yeah.
And this gentleman here looks like he might be able to tell us a few things about the canal and the goings on here. I'm Fraser, this is Geoff.
How do you do?
Hi.
Pleasure to meet you. So what's your role on the canal here?
Well, we're running a trip boat just to attract attention and to raise funds for the Friends of the Cromford Canal, which is a charity which is hoping to have the canal reopened one day in the future.
And have you ever seen any artists like this chap here sort of lining the banks? There's a few roaming around, you can never be quite sure where they are.
People with their little easels, and I've seen things that they've produced being shown in galleries.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful part of the world. I've never been here before, and I'm sure you'd echo that sentiment. You must know it fairly well, and enjoy the views that you see on your daily trips as well. And it's just starting to rain a bit as well, which is even more marvellous. we like a rainy view, don't we? We managed to stay dry all day, so that's great.
I mean, presumably, this is diesel driven, presumably now.
Electric.
Electric, is it electric? Right. And at one time this would have been horse drawn.
Indeed, and sometimes we do it horse drawn here because a mile down there's a Victorian steam engine driving a pump.
Yeah.
And that's open certain weekends. When it's open, we have a horse drawn canal boat just to add to the authenticity.
Yeah,
that's
fantastic.
Take it back 200 years to the way it would have been operating then.
Well, fantastic. It's been great to hear about those plans. Okay. And thank you very much for your time.
Nice to meet you.
That's great.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, Ian. Thank you.
So it sounds from Ian there that this has had quite a busy life, this canal.
Yeah, but a lovely spot.
Yeah. And how
good location.
Yeah. So whereabouts is this spot?
I think we're about here. But looking that way, Fraser. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take a photograph while I'm here, actually, because it's... and I think the one we were looking at was more autumnal, but I think this makes a good scene any time of year.
Yeah, it's about the spot. Yeah, nice.
It is. It's lovely.
Curve of the canal.
It is, yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, and the reflections in the very slow-moving water. So I'm going to take another photo while we're here.
Okay. So this is a process you use a lot. You take photos. If you don't have all your gear with you, you've got a camera usually, and you can take a few snaps and then take them back and work from them.
In truth, I do a lot of painting from photographs.
Yeah.
I think the key to it is not to take it too little, to learn to interpret it and make it into a painting. But a photograph does contain a lot of information and material.
Well, and so many of us got our smartphones with us these days that we can just take a...
Well, if you know how to use it,
Oh, don't you know how to use yours? Yeah.
It never works for me.
You stick with the normal lens
That's
cameras.
right, yeah.
Brilliant.
But I want to show you another place now, not far from here, called Baslow Edge.
Right.
Very different though, a lot more open, a lot more sky and distance.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds right.
I think we'll do some painting there, if that's all right.
Yeah, I'd love to do some painting there. Okay, lead the way.
Let's get going.
So Geoff, we're very kindly being driven to our next painting location. I think you might need to give these guys a few directions over the time.
I think you're right. I'll keep an eye on the road. Leave that to me.
They're not familiar with these parts. So tell me a little bit about where we're going and why you've picked it for today's painting.
Well, Fraser, one of my favourite spots in the Peak District is what's called the Edges, and it's like a gritstone spine that runs right through the Peak District. Yeah. And we're going to one little part of this called Baslow Edge. It's got the heather at this time of year. Look, it will be marvellous because we're out here in August, so we'll get some lovely rich purple colours amongst the heather. And then between the heather you get lots of rocky outcrops, you get fields and farms in the distance. It's got a bit of everything.
What do you think the weather's going to do to us? We're going to be...
Well, I think it's going to be colder than you think up there. I mean, it's a summer day, but there's no shelter up there. It's a bit windy. You need to turn right at this junction. You'll certainly know you've been outdoors for the afternoon.
So fantastic views, Geoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
It's quite a vista, isn't it?
It's a little bit blustery. So
yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
wouldn't think this
stick
was August. I like the hat.
stick
I
my
like the hat. I
farmer's
wish
cap
I'd brought
on.
a hat like that.
It makes me paint better. It makes me paint better.
I think that's going to fly off down there any minute.
I'll expect you to run after it if it does.
Certainly,
Great.
yeah.
So we're set up, ready to go. Our lovely cameramen have been and done this all for us, where we've been having a coffee.
That's always handy, isn't it? Yeah.
I take it this is the view you had in mind.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
mean,
certainly hope it is, as we've already set everything up here.
Well, it's very handy, that, isn't it? But I mean, I love the soft grasses waving in the wind and that lovely rich purple heather, because this is the perfect time of year for the heather.
It's nice, isn't it?
And then
Just
you've got the
leads
hard
you
edges of
right
the
back.
rocks.
Yeah. A real great sense of sort of depth as it drops off the edge
Yeah.
there. Yeah, fantastic.
Well, I'm glad you like it. I'm pleased that you
Yeah.
like the spot.
Now, I know you're a watercolourist, and you always start with a drawing.
I do, Fraser, because I would hate to just set about that with brushes and paint without any sort of plan on the paper.
Yeah.
I mean, this will be a fairly quick sketch, really. Just establish the edge of the rocks here and the skyline. I would never draw the sky, for instance, clouds or sky. I'd just put that straight in.
Well, I guess when you're using watercolour, a lot of that's done in sort of quite a loose fashion with washes and
very much so
blocking in. Well, I'll give you a minute to sketch in your composition then, and I'd better do the same.
Okay.
Again, just to give me a starting point. So I take it your starting point is usually the sky if you're working in the landscape.
Before I even put brush to paper, I've got there's a bit of thinking time. They say think slowly, paint quickly, and I think that's a good adage, because I need to think what colours do I want in the sky and then get them ready. So I want a bit of, I've mixed some cobalt blue here. I want a nice soft blue.
Yeah.
I've made a grey with cobalt blue, rose madder and burnt sienna together. So we've got a bit of blue and grey. And I think to take a little bit of the whiteness off the sky, put a little tint into it, I'm going to get a little bit of Naples yellow.
Oh yeah, great colour.
I'm going to just wet the sky, wet the whole of the sky area with clear water.
Yeah. You've done a lot of painting over the years. Do you have any sort of experiences that stick in your mind as being, breakthrough moments or times when you really felt that you were on your A game, on top form?
Well, it's hard to recall. I've done a lot of painting over the years, a lot of different paintings, and I wish I can think of paintings that I did where I really thought I made progress. That was a brilliant painting. And I think I've made a mistake in a way. They do say that you should keep your best paintings, your absolute best. The top 1% of what you do,
really?
keep those.
But are they the ones people want to buy?
Well, that's it. You do an exhibition, and they're often, they usually are the ones that attract people's eye in the first instance. And of course, you do it for a living, so it's selling paintings is what I do. So I'm tempted, and I usually sell them.
Do you remember the first painting you sold?
I don't. No. I think it was £30. I remember.
Oh, was
price,
it?
But I can't remember somewhere in Derbyshire, I think. But
Well, it depends how many years ago that was, Geoff. £30 could have been a lot.
It's probably 25 years ago. That was a little art group in Sheffield that I used to belong to. Yeah.
Well, I think it might be time for us to just run and get a cup of tea somewhere. There's got to be somewhere we can get a hot drink on this place, because I'm getting frostbite and I don't want to lose any fingers for the sake of making nice paintings. So you cameramen can stay here and guard our stuff for us while we go and get a nice warm drink, and then we'll see you when we get back, and we'll round up these paintings and hopefully get some good results.